Hello. So today we will be talking about summer programs, which is ironic because it is currently 43 degrees in Cleveland. Welcome to Office Hours on Wheels. I'm Lily Slater, your college admissions coach at College Driven, where I share insights and strategies to help you navigate the road to college successfully. Hello. So today we will be talking about summer programs, which is ironic because it is currently 43 degrees in Cleveland, and although this is a heat wave, yesterday was a complete snowstorm. So there you go. Let's talk about summer programs. So I had a client who was talking to their guidance counselor, and the guidance counselor was discouraging her from doing any summer programs. Apparently at the school, this is the modus operandi, is to not encourage summer programs, which I find to be extremely strange, because the answer of should I do a summer program is that depends on the quality of the summer program. So if it is a pay to play and all you're doing is just registering to take a summer program somewhere, then it's not highly selective, obviously, because you're just going to register and enroll and pay the money, right? So yes, those I do discourage, absolutely. But let's go back to why you would consider a summer program in the first place. Well, first and foremost, don't you want to know if what you think you want to major in is actually something that you're going to pursue in reality? The only way to do that is to step out and to find out. So you need experiences within your area of interest to see if you like it or not. So with that is why you do it in the first place. Okay, it's not to build up your college application. It's actually to see if you like something that you think you're interested in. I had a client a couple years back where she thought she wanted to do forensics. So I had her apply to the Georgetown Academy for forensics. She was admitted. She ended up going, and she came back and said, "Oh my gosh, Lily, I absolutely hated it." Now, her experience, although one that wasn't a resounding positive, actually gave her more information than she was prepared for, because she could have gone on, majored in that the first year, maybe second year, and decided, oh no, now I actually don't like this. So she found out ahead of time that she didn't like forensics, and it gave her an opportunity to pivot into a different direction. And so that is invaluable, even when you find out that what you thought you loved isn't exactly what you thought it was going to be like. So I don't know where you're going to get that kind of exposure to your interest unless you take a summer program. So let's talk about quality of summer programs. Summer programs, the ones that I recommend, are highly selective programs. What does highly selective mean? Highly selective means that you not only have to fill out an application, but you also have to send a transcript, and you also have to have a letter of recommendation, if not two, or an extra one from your counselor. So that is when you know you're actually being evaluated against your peers, and they are looking at all this information to see if they want to admit you into that summer program. Now, that doesn't mean that the program is going to be $0. There are very few programs out there that are going to result in $0. As you can imagine, the ones that are $0 through a applicant pool are probably the most selective programs out there. Telluride is like that. The Notre Dame leadership seminar, that's like that. So you can only imagine the competitiveness for those programs. In addition to that, I do not recommend doing something like that NCLS or whatever that thing is that people think is really something, but it's really nothing. Those are programs where they are renting the space on a university's campus, and although it's their own program, it is not sponsored by the university whatsoever. The only exception to this of what I am saying is the Economics for Leaders program. Yes, they do rent the universities where they are administering the program, but they are a highly selective program because they only take about 30 students per location. So if you get into that, understand that it is highly selective, and it is a situation where they are renting the facility and dorms and such from that university. So that is an exception. But typically be very, very careful when it is hosted by a business that is just renting the university space. Okay, so based on that, what I would recommend is that whatever interests you have, go ahead and look for pre-college, high school, summer programs at the universities that you are interested in applying to. That's going to be important because you actually get to try it out and see if that university is living up to what's in your head, what you have dreamt about. So that is invaluable as well. If you think that Wake Forest University is somewhere where you would like to be and you've never been there before, or maybe you have taken a college tour, but you're contemplating maybe that is going to be an early decision for you and you're not sure, go ahead and do a summer program there, because you're going to be living as a Wake Forest student on that campus for 1 week, 2 weeks, however long your program is for. So that is also invaluable, is giving that college that you're dreaming about actually a try on to see if it's going to meet the hype in your head. Okay. In addition to that, as you know, and I don't care what any universities tell you about how it doesn't make a difference, yes, it does make a difference. Early decision application. If your university has an early decision option, what that means is that you can apply early. You will be notified earlier than most on their decision. However, it is a binding contract. So if you are admitted, then you must go to that university and withdraw all other applications. Now, is it really binding? We're not going to get into that in this particular vlog, but there are ways to get out of it. But like I said, that's for another discussion. We're talking about summer programs, okay? So you're vetting through summer programs, you're vetting whether or not that particular university is going to get your early decision application or not. Because again, you're trying it on, okay? So in addition to that, why I advise on summer programs is because that is going to give you fodder for your supplemental essay that asks, why our college, right? You're going to be exposed to the college, you're going to be living at the college, you're going to be really kind of pursuing the major that you think you're interested in. So that's going to give you material for that supplemental essay. You can refer to your experience on campus during your summer program. When it comes to the why your major essay, you can talk about how that summer program confirmed what direction you'd like to go with a career. You know, what's also great is if it didn't work out and you were surprised to find out that that wasn't the way in which you wanted to go, that too makes for a great essay as to why your major. Because you can talk about how you do step out and find out, how your curiosities are realized, and you go out and you don't just wish for it, you work for it, and you find out as to what the reality is for you. So that really makes for some wonderful summer program material to use for those two essays. Why your major, why our college, okay? And then finally, I think what is really important in a summer program is if you've never been away from home, if you have been sheltered in a bubble. I know some of you travel a lot, but you travel with your family around the world. That's all well and good. But getting out of your comfort zone on your own, doing a summer program, not with a friend, tagging along, and really kind of exposing yourself to a group of people that you don't know, that you've never met before, and yet still in a safe space, I think that is going to grow you tremendously, tremendously. So take that opportunity to do that for yourself, okay? And then finally, the summer program check mark for me is when you have found a summer program at a university that you think you want to attend or apply to. It's going to help with your yield, okay? Yield, I have stated this time and time again, I'll state it again, college is a business. And part of those business principles are increasing yield. What is yield? If you can think of a fraction, it is in the numerator, the amount of students actually coming in the fall, divided by the number of students that actually got acceptance letters from that university. So they're never going to be 100%, obviously, but increasing yield helps them also with their ranking in U.S. News and World Report's college ranking every year. So understand this. If you are, let's say, a Midwest student, and there is a university all the way out west, they're going to be evaluating also based on yield. The likelihood that you are going to actually say yes to them if they say yes to you. So what helps with that? What helps with that is almost convincing them, ensuring to them that you are coming, that you have been there, that these are the specifics of what I loved about my experience, that I can see myself on campus, therefore I'm coming if you say yes, right? If you've never visited campus, and especially if you haven't done a summer program there, right, then obviously you're a flight risk, right? You're a little risky in the fact of, well, the credentials are there, but you know, this other applicant, they were actually here for our summer program. Therefore, they know what they're getting into. The likelihood of them saying yes to us is probably more than a kid who, from the Midwest, has never even been out to California. Therefore, we will go with the summer program kid, okay? So you have to understand that that is an actual conversation that is going on in the head of college admissions reps, okay? So there's that. What I advise throughout the high school year, okay, is that, let's say, you know, freshman to sophomore year, you know, I think it's better to try to understand what you like and don't like in a future career, right? So if you can find a field of interest, explore that. But the summer between your sophomore and junior year, that should be the time that you are doing the summer program if you qualify for the program, okay? Because there are age limits, right? But between sophomore and junior year, you should be doing that big summer program that checks all the boxes that I've just indicated to you. And you should, and yes, is it going to be expensive? Yes, it's going to be expensive. Yes, I'm not saying that it's not. A lot of the highly selectives are going to be, even though you have to work your butt off to actually get invited to come. Okay, but once you are invited to come, it's still going to cost. There are scholarships, you could look into that, but I'm just telling you, don't be surprised. All right. And then if you gain that experience, okay, and you solidify your direction and major, then the following summer, no one's telling you to do another summer program. You can do another highly selective where perhaps you were too young to even qualify for that first summer. So go ahead if you'd like. But if you are strapped for cash and you don't have a never-ending faucet of money coming out for summer programs, then that second summer between junior and senior year, it's a great idea to use that experience that you gained from the summer program and use that to your advantage. Get that on the resume. Have something to talk about in an interview when you're trying to get an internship. Internships are going to be extremely helpful to validate your interest between the junior and senior summer. Okay, so look at this. You have this additional experience then that you could use to your advantage to make you a stronger applicant for the internship. Use it. Okay, if you wait and don't have any experience in what you think you want to do, then it's really a hard sell to anyone in research or in business or what have you to really kind of give you a shot and take the time to have you come in as an intern. Okay, believe it or not, interns are, you know, they've got to spend time with you, right? It's a commitment on that person's part, that employee's part. So it's not something that they take haphazardly when they choose who they want to come in for an internship. All right. So based on all of this, I hope that you do consider summer programs. If you are not in the position where your mother or father or aunt or uncle is in the medical field, that could probably snag you a research internship very easily. If you're not that person, then there's really only a couple ways that you could try to get that exposure and experience to what you're interested in. That's a summer program, and that will pay off in dividends for you when it comes to what you're going to be doing for the next summer, and also your competitiveness in your applicant pool. Okay? All right, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for joining me on Office Hours on Wheels, and I'll see you on the next drive. Thanks. Bye. I did want to mention one important thing, and that is this. If you are interested in summer programs and you're looking at the highly selected programs, I want to warn you that the deadlines for those programs are very, very early. So you want to start doing your research in around the December timeframe so you're ready to go, because those applications, for many of them, open January 1. Some of them have application deadlines, and by the way, you want the priority deadline, especially on these highly selectives. There might be a priority deadline of January 20th, but all applications are not due until April 3rd. You want the January 20th deadline. Trust me on this one. So for the highly selectives, I would say there are some that are January deadlines. Typically there's February, and then March 1 is typically the next ones. There are some though that don't even open until March 1, and then they give you about 10 days to fill everything out. But you do have to have everything set up and ready to go, including your teacher recommendations and all of that. So do your research ahead of time in December, and be sure that you're ready with essays and teacher recs and transcripts ready to go by the January timeframe, and make make sure you know your deadlines, and you must meet priority deadline to have the best chance of getting accepted. Okay, that's it. Thanks. Thanks for tuning in to Office Hours on Wheels with Lily Slater. If this helped you, be sure to hit the subscribe button for more college admissions insights. If you have a question or topic you'd like addressed, go to www.collegedriven.com and click the email link in the sidebar. I'll see you in the next drive.